Ooh, and there's a desolation of salt here. I don't know how I feel about that. Air elemental, you're definitely what we're struggling with here, but shouldn't be too bad on your own. Do I care about a desolation of salt? I mean, that is a good place to get treasure, which is kind of the whole thing here. Time to get rid of that anti-propaganda, one elf at a time. It is treasure, but it's also terrifying. Unfortunately, Desolation of Salt is one of those places that I don't ever remember well enough all of the like formats that the incoming damage is going to take. It's a lot of physical damage for sure. You have the crystal golems, so that's a heck of a lot of physical damage. I can't think of any like cold, but and yeah, no, see, safe it. In my real life, I'd be right with you there. I'm all about the salt. Basically add that to literally anything I cook, but unfortunately don't feel quite so free on the video game side itself. Faint whistling of a distant wind. Well, it's looking like we might just stumble across it early on here. I'm just gonna auto explore and see what happens. It's looking like what happens is we are taken away from the desolation, if I had to guess. Which is kind of what we were wanting for, so let's just roll with it, shall we? Let's not worry about the desolation of salt today. I'd rather stay safe. Ooh, but 2 potions of magic? Don't mind if I do, that is brilliant. I think at some point we're gonna have to train some more spell casting because we're still a little bit lackluster in terms of our overall mana pool here. But we should be able to get there at some point down the road. Definitely back ourselves into here real quick. Let these sons of guns come at us one at a time and meet my giant dragon fists. Really just not even a fair fight, but I'm not complaining. And let's just keep the ball rolling here, shall we? Probably should have checked what the Bardiche actually do. Flaming? That's fine by me, friend. Perfect. Let's just close the door in the face of that short sword and then keep living our own life. Is that at least in range now? It is. Fantastic. Ooh, what were you carrying, friend? Not much. Scroll of Summoning, though. I will gladly take that. We do have to do another one of these inventory cleanouts. This seems to be a reoccurring theme. Let's get rid of throwing equipment, seeing as how Dragon Form is our new best friend and master, so we will respect that at the end of our days and probably not really end up using much throwing. It's funny, the Elf Knights use cold damage, but it's not quite enough for me to feel concerned about it. It's not the full 3d25 of all the later stage enemies, so that's at least fairly manageable even at neutral resistances here. And we'll hope that that trend continues moving forward. And beautiful. Short Sword of Von Karma, DCSS Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney collab. Is this a crossover episode? Hey, there's the Desolation of Salt. And look at that, we don't even have to go in and we still get a bunch of free salt licks. Nothing weird about licking those, I'm sure. Oh my gosh, that elf just destroyed one of our salt licks. They will die for this transgression. Rest assured. They shall rue the day. They shall rue it, I tell you. And there we go. It's a bit more manageable. Let's make our friends step up to the plate here if we can. And wonderful. Elves do be dripped out. Yeah, I'm glad. You have the hatred of the elves going for you, but you also aren't too proud to recognize that Game needs to recognize game, and they do in fact be dripped out here. There's a decent fit whenever you're in the Elven Halls. That's just a fact, as much as we hate to admit it to ourselves. Okie dokie. Elf 1 went about as expected, so that's fair. Hopefully, Elf 2 continues that general trend here. Jeez, anti-magic halberd, almost bane of my entire existence. How about that? Well, definitely take this opportunity to heal up a little bit. Oh, geez Louise. The elves love the Yeezys. Again, I respect you for the perspective that you have on yourself. Knowing where to draw that line, because you got to respect style. If there's anything that we've learned, it's that the fashion souls is what this game is all about. I mean, unfortunately, we're losing out on a wee bit of that since we're largely in dragon form, but we still know deep down inside that we have our full royal red outfit going on underneath all that dragon flesh, as you can see here. Just beautiful. Okie dokie, let's get back on the road. I'm now hoping that we find a shop here in Elf 2. That would kind of solve a lot of the problems that we have in general. So that's the dream, at least. We'll see if we end up lucky enough to see that dream become a reality. Do I dare fireball? I kind of like my ice clouds. I guess you're not in an ice cloud right now, so yeah, we need to deal some amount of damage and never step next to a dragon when death is on the line. Perfect. It's the drip on the inside that counts, as Dexter once said. Fair enough, fair enough. And hey, Brain, how's it going? You must miss a stream or two. Last I saw was Formicid. Yeah, I think potentially just the one. We just had last week with Naga, and now we're continuing the run, so you didn't miss a whole lot. I mean, this run here has been pretty solid up until now. You basically came right as things are starting to get a wee bit dicey, and we're having to make some of the tougher calls. So we'll see if we can keep Chili Boop alive. Carry on the Boop family name and bring honor to our ancestors. That's the dream. Oh wow. That's the end of Elf Halls too. Okie dokie. Well, how about that? And now we're once more back into the breach of I need to make a decision. We have Vaults 4 to finish clearing. We have Elf 3 to potentially try out. Or we have Slime if we think we can do it. That would also necessitate clearing out the last little bit of Layer 6, which we never got around to. But that's just a wee bit of experience, not a big deal one way or another. Ancestor focus but not worshipping Hep? No, unfortunately not. I mean, I couldn't say no to the big old snail in the sky. There's something about becoming, I mean, sure, Naga are pretty slow on their own, but becoming the slowest creature in existence in this dungeon, you can't pass the opportunity by. We're here to break records. Even if that is being the slowest possible. But okay. I'm very tempted to keep going. This went fairly well here in Elf, so I think we might be able to. Oops, let's fix that. First of all, fix our window, but we may be able to clear through Elf in relative safety. Let's start that journey and see how we feel after the first few encounters, shall we? And at least potentially hold off on entering the final vault area until we know for sure. But say if you mean we're already in Elf, so you have a point, and that's pretty much the same reasoning that I used to determine that we should at least try it. Like, we're not even gonna, take a look, take a peek. But I should focus on being the fastest Boop alive in a future run. Imagine zooming across Zot. Yeah, we'd have a decent amount of progress to work against in order to get there, but I could see it happening. Oh my gosh, we got this elf again. I feel like I've seen nothing but the castle elf 3. Or it's been like 4 runs now? It's not my favorite, because I definitely prefer just having a single hallway. That's the be-all end-all of all of my benefits and woes, as it were. That's fine. We also just have to remember that we have spells other than Dragon Form. Yeah, but not really. I mean, come on. All you need in life is Dragon Form, right? Why waste time with all this other silliness? You know, besides this one time that I'm casting Ignition, because, I mean, it's hard to turn down just the sheer crowd control that we get out of that. No, I think that we could potentially do just fine continuing onwards in Elf 3 here. We're on a pretty solid character, especially compared to some of the characters we've been playing recently that were just far too focused on the Storm form as well. How about that? But all of our melee characters definitely struggled with, specifically like Master Archers completely and totally ruining my life. Oh, right. Oh, it's funny. I have to choose to spit poison or fire. Also, question for the audience. Why can I still spit poison? I lose all my other snake-like abilities, such as my slow slither speed, but apparently the poison spit isn't a physical thing. It comes from without instead. It's more of a spiritual poison spit, if you will. So apparently changing our anatomy completely away from snake doesn't get rid of that ability. Huh, the more you know. But I guess that's most of the floor besides the castle itself, so might just have to go for it. Okay, we just need to be quick on the trigger finger when it comes to teleport scrolls is the big one. And ready for those to also fail, requiring another teleport scroll. We have 2 blink scrolls, which I'd prefer not to use, but we'll see. Exactly, Spirit Venom, it's really the only explanation. But I'm going to try and rely on just Dragon Form to start off so that we're saving magic for when we truly need it, because that is definitely generally when things get a wee bit dicey is when we run out of mana. And we're fighting everything. Sorry, don't mind me. Wrong room. Let's finish exploring the rest of this area first. Oh, never mind. There is quite literally nothing to see here, folks. Okay. Maybe it's for the same reason that Draconians retain their abilities in Dragon Form. Oh, do they really? That's such an odd idea to me, casting Dragon Form as a Draconian. I mean, that definitely speaks more to your Draconian's insecurities than anything else, because aren't you dragon enough, my man? Apparently not. Very polite dragon opens doors. That's cute. I mean, it'd be more polite to knock, probably, but it is what it is. Okay, so I want everyone. I want the whole crowd, the whole crew. That's not the whole crew, but it's enough for me. We're gonna get blasted. In fact, that's a good start. Let's definitely get a body in the way. 50%, around 50% chance to evade my 4 claws. That's weird. I thought I only had 2 claws. Oh man, I'll be here all week, folks. But okay, here's where we start slowing down a bit. Let's think this through. We have an okay ignition coefficient here, which is now a phrase that I'm just now coining as the effectiveness of ignition based on the number of enemies that are hanging around. Another option we have is Lightning Rod is undodgeable, so we could try and just kill the Blade Master with Lightning Rod, potentially save our magics for slightly longer. I also have 9 Brilliance Potions. Hold up. I'd like to chug one of those back real quick. And then casting this is now just 4 mana. Now that's a really good ignition coefficient. I wish you wouldn't do the damnation though. You have so many options at your disposal, sorcerer. It'd be real chill if you could do pretty much anything but that. Well, this is going to be annoying, but I guess we're going to keep it going here and just keep blasting. Another Blade Master, you don't say. I would like more bodies in sight, please. One more body, specifically that sorcerer. Fantastic. Get absolutely wrecked, my man. And okay. That's not too shabby. I think this is where we make curtain call. Oh, I didn't see that annihilator there. How'd you do? Or how you do, rather. That was slightly risky, but we got there. Summoner should die in one more hit. You son of a gun. Okay, one more Blade Master made it out. 104, hey? I'm gonna re-teleport. And one step is enough to trigger teleport. That's how slow we are. Okay. But there we go. That was pretty solid, all things considered. Got a decent amount of damage done. Pretty much all for the cost of a Brilliance Potion, I guess, and a single teleport scroll, but that's not the end of the world. Let's see, how many friends have we left behind? That was slightly risky because we definitely didn't really want to deal with Torment. But do I like Baraki or Naga more? Both are slow bastards. I would say Naga, but I don't know if I've ever played a Baraki. At least not in my most recent return to the game, and never one that got anywhere, shall we say. So you might have to ask me that question again once we get past them in the win with every species routine. Because I don't really have much understanding or knowledge as to what the Baraki plays like, but I will say that I very much enjoy Naga. I find that I've always been very drawn to the hybrid style of play, and Nagas lend themselves so well to that, especially since the Che-Naga combo, while kind of memey, is also actually just really strong for me. I don't know, I hear a lot of people call me like a mad lad for wanting to, or choosing to worship Che on a Naga character, but I just find it super solid and like very consistent for me, oddly enough, even though it very much feels like something that should not be consistent. Oh my gosh, just deleted that poor son of a gun. Almost feel bad for the fella, but then I remember that they're a Dirty Blade Master elf, so c'est la vie. Now, Carl, you're looking forward to the Meteoran runs? See, that is going to be very strange for me. That's going to be a huge paradigm shift, so I'm also looking forward to that. It's definitely, in general in this game, some of the most fun that I have are with weird combinations and trying new things that I've never been forced to attempt before, so that definitely fits the bill in that regard. It's a whole different game, I can only imagine. And maybe that will be the motivation I need to potentially try some style of speedrunning. I don't know whether I do turn count or real-time speedrun, but I've always had an interest in at least trying it a bit more seriously. I think we had one stream where we did very unofficial attempts at speedruns, which was basically just playing Deep Dwarf and using tab a bit more than I usually might. But otherwise was nothing too incredible. Ooh, Oskubu's Fridge. I don't know if we'll bother learning it. I'm mostly here looking for artifact rings, and also, if I can swing it, I think I would like Manifold Assault, of course. This one helmet, probably not what I'm looking for here. Lots of spellbooks though, one of these. Nope, not either of those. One of these has got to have it. You figured speedrunning was like macro programming, so you never tried it in this game. I think in many ways it is. I don't know if I'd be going for records, but more so, yeah, a very pseudo speedrun, I guess, still, even with that qualifier, just because I'd be more focused on just having fun than really optimizing those things, because I think you're 100% in the right there, that it is largely just getting all your macros perfectly set up to sprint your way through the game without really having to do much, I guess, active decision making. Instead, it's very much just having all of the skills and the experience in order to make all the right passive decisions. But okay, we make it through Elf here, and unfortunately, it is not everything that we hoped and dreamed of in life. And so we're still sitting at a bit of a deficit when it comes to special defense abilities. But we still kind of steamrolled through here, so maybe we're okay. Do I like Demon Spawn more as melee or spellcaster? I think they do fairly well for both, but I lean towards spellcaster because that's just my general inclination in that regard. I enjoy spellcasters a lot more, but I think you can do some interesting stuff dependent on your mutations as well. Like when you end up as a beastly, is that what they're called? Beastly? Monstrous. With monstrous mutations, that's where things get kind of interesting, and you might want to switch to melee even if you're not using that already. I love that we do literally tear the Hydra's heads off. We're not slicing them. It's not that our claws are knife-like enough to cut heads. It's that we remove their heads so thoroughly from their body. Still counts, I guess, and they do grow them back, so that's interesting in its own right. Not even a basic Arcrosion ring somewhere? Unless things have changed recently, I unfortunately don't believe so. Nope, it's all equipable stuff, which again is not the end of the world. I don't know if we need Dragon Form active at all points in our life, but it is nice when we can, for sure. Oh look, it's some of our lesser dragon brethren here. Or Komodos? Though to be fair, they have the advantages of wild corrosion. Not even breath, but spit. So there is that. Glad that they didn't bring that into implementation in the game, because essentially that would just be, if you get damaged whatsoever by a Komodo dragon, you die. Your character is dead in the next 7 to 10 days. Doesn't seem great from a mechanics standpoint for the video game. But we're probably gonna just blow our way through Lair here. I'm gonna be slightly cautious not to tap too much, but at the same time, I'm gonna be just throwing that tap key left, right, and center here, and we should do just fine against the majority of opponents since we're so far ahead and coming back a bit here. Ooh, Boggart would have been very interesting to face. We'd come to Lair 6 immediately. Ooh, and there are multiple of you and everything. I guess it's because we're in this fancy little forest end area. Don't be giving the devs any ideas. No, you don't want not even instant death, but delayed death effects from Komodos. Oh gosh, I did not realize the ramifications of my actions. I'm so sorry, Forest. I mean, it had to be done, is what I'm going to say, just to alleviate any amount of guilt or blame that I could put on myself. It had to be done. Unfortunately so. Again, had to be done as the summoner came out to play. I guess we're just gonna burn it all down, baby. If I can't have this forest to myself, then no one can. Oh, if that's Manifold Assault though. Maybe I leave the rest of the forest intact? Oh my gosh, it is. Okay. Do not burn the forest anymore. We've come around and we are now a changed dragon / Naga. This is our life now. Some fancy rings we don't need. Okie dokie, and that should be pretty much everything. Oh my gosh, the Spriggans really kind of just fluttered throughout the entire map there. But let's take a peek at this, shall we? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Manifold Assault, already 38% farmable. Farmable. That's not the word. Castable. There we go. So definitely we can learn that, and we can learn Blink as well, since I'm assuming Blink is already fully castable, even though I didn't consciously look for it in the list here. Oh, and we have Apportation? I should probably learn Apportation while I'm at it. But yes, there we go. Blink as well. Get in there. And let us do a quick switcheroo here. I want A and H swapped around. Fantastic. We're burning off pasture, just trying to get my farm going. Does that make it okay? I feel like that's the basis of all human existence throughout time. Is no, I have a very good reason to be doing this horrible thing. Is the thing. Could also be a dragon who summons dragons. So you want some dragons with your dragon, so you can dragon while you dragon. I get it. I get it for sure. There's something to that. Okay. So, I kind of want to get Manifold kicking off here. So with that in mind, we're actually going to take a bit of a detour before continuing this back to Vaults. Alright, you just get blasted. And let's head back to Vaults for real this time. And what we wish to do is a bit of a reconfiguring. Unarmed and fighting are going to come off temporarily. Oh, fighting's real close. It can actually stay. And translocations is coming up to probably at least somewhere like a 10, maybe? We'll see how much experience we get as we make our way through Vaults 4. Ideally, we get Manifold up to fully castable relatively quickly, and that should do fantastic. I was trying to, every once in a while, take a peek at our, you know what, that's ignition. Let's do that before I just keep holding tab by accident. Perfect. Oh gosh, my brain just broke completely. It's time about Manifold Assault. No, right, I was thinking about rings. We're checking in on our willpower, because at some point, if our kind of natural willpower gets to a strong enough level, we can switch off from the willpower ring into whatever we most require. So that could end up being fairly huge for keeping us in a decent position across the board in terms of resistances. Say as we just face tank the Frostheart. Should probably be a little bit more cautious as to what we're doing here, but that's fine. And we'll just continue our way through, hopefully again getting enough experience here to get things popping off. Oh geez. What do I do with you, friend? No, Arlek is definitely a bit of a pain in the rear. I guess let's do a quick peek. You do up to... Oof, geez, that's too much. 78 damage with Call Down Lightning. I think you can't hit close to you, though. Enemies that are adjacent or nearly adjacent cannot be struck. So this is nearly adjacent, right? Do I stick with Dragon Form? I guess I don't have Arlek either way. So the answer is yes. Oh, as we get contaminated, that's not good. But at least our friend steps next to us this time. So there we have it. Much better. Ooh, they did break the door though, so that was our last opportunity to do that. Yeah, save it. I'm trying to save the resistant pots if possible, because if we don't end up with a source of Arlek, that is going to be strictly necessary for surviving Zot. Zot is going to be terrifying. I'm hoping, desperately hoping, that we find a good source before then, but there's unfortunately no guarantee. And getting marked is probably not the play here. Whoopsie daisies. Though apparently there's just nobody chilling in this area. Oh no, there you are. And now they all come crawling in at once, I'm sure. How did you get mited, my friend? Maybe you chugged a potion? I just wasn't paying attention? Must have been something like that. But don't you dare keep that convoking going on, my friend. Unacceptable behavior, not in my household. My house, my rules. And perfect. Let's see, where is this leaving us? We're already at like 6 for translocations, which means Manifold Assault fully castable. Perfect. So now that's definitely an option for us. Ooh, and we get the armory here. Fortunately, nothing too special. Even though we wouldn't use something like Damnation, the fancy Unrandart crossbow, I still was kind of hoping that we'd see it just for, you know, being able to flex on the fools, but that's fine. And there we go.